Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight we're going to be hanging out for a little while. I have a couple of different topics that I want to discuss. Some that are new, some that are a couple days old that I just haven't gotten a chance to put out videos on. Lots of drama, it seems, tonight. Lots of topics that have either been the center of controversies or topics that are situations like companies being completely ratioed. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about Kotaku putting out quite an interesting, we'll call it, take on the CCP's new gaming restrictions for people under 18. I actually talked about this last week on my Vera After Dark discussion stream, the general topic of China is updating their restrictions for people under 18. Now they can only play an hour a day video games, play them an hour a day on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays. And obviously, I do not agree with that. I think that it is a parent's, decision, it should be a parent's decision as to how many video games a kid can play, but Kotaku decided to allow this awful take to be put on their website where they're saying, free me from the bad takes about China's gaming restrictions, and they basically defend China's new laws by saying, well, it's a different place, okay? Their headline is, there's no one-size-fits-all take when you're dealing with millions of diverse gamers. So Kotaku obviously is being completely raked across the coals for this. Do they deserve it? A little bit, yeah. I'm going to be talking about the Russo brothers and Marvel, two Marvel topics tonight, because when it comes to the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, obviously we're not going to see an outcome when it comes to that for a very long time, but there's a lot of people that are working with Marvel that are actually very worried about working with the company again, like the Russo brothers, because apparently they're at an impasse to direct another Marvel movie after the lawsuit, and obviously we've seen other actors and actresses come forward and say they're worried about working with the company as well. And a lot of people are coming forward saying, well, my contract was similar to Scarlett Johansson's, and maybe I'll sue them too. I'm going to be talking also about Shang-Chi, because Shang-Chi finally released this weekend, and there's been a lot of drama surrounding Shang-Chi. Over the past couple weeks, there's been a lot of talk leading up to Shang-Chi's launch, just because a lot of people thought that it was going to flop. A lot of people thought that it wasn't going to do very well. I didn't really think that it was going to do that well, but in the age of pandemic movie releases, it's actually done relatively good. But despite the shill media's praises, it still has had the third worst opening weekend in MCU history. So we've definitely got a lot to talk about when it comes to Shang-Chi. It was not a movie that I personally was all that excited for. I'll watch it at some point. I have not seen it yet. I know the plot of it though. Like I've read all the spoilers. I've read the plot. I just haven't actually seen it yet. But to me, it doesn't really sound all that amazing. It didn't leading up to the launch. But the shill media has been praising it. There's been a lot of media that has said, oh, it's an amazing, fantastic movie. The reviews for it right now are great and over the top. But it's still got the third worst opening in MCU history. And I'm going to be talking about Tripwire. Now, this is a situation that's definitely blown up over the weekend that I haven't covered yet, but I really wanted to talk about the cancel culture aspect of it, because Tripwire Games president John Gibson has stepped down after being denounced by mainstream video game industry for his support of the Texas Heartbeat Act. Now, I'm not here to say one political opinion or one opinion on this situation is right or wrong. I'm not trying to sit here and give, lectures on opinions, but I do want to talk about the heart of the matter, which is cancel culture. And I want to talk about a lot of people trying to cancel this man for simply having an opinion and putting it on social media. And the video game industry, a lot of people in the industry attacking him over having his own opinion. So those are the topics we're going to cover tonight. I might also briefly talk about the Evil Hat situation. I will be covering this in a video tomorrow, so maybe if we get time, I'll discuss this. But Evil Hat Productions has attempted a combative marketing strategy for their new TTRPG, Thirsty Sword Lesbians, by declaring, if you don't like our politics, don't buy our games. And I've got a lot to say on this, so I will be making a video on it tomorrow. But yeah, that's a whole situation too. But welcome everyone. I hope your evening's going well. We'll get started with the topics in just a minute. I've got a couple of interesting ones to discuss tonight. Lots of drama. I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. Kotaku being raked across the coals. No one trusting Marvel. Tripwire Games president being canceled for having an opinion. It's definitely an interesting evening. So how are you all doing? I hope your night's going well. In my opinion, it was better than Black Widow. I've read the plot of Shang-Chi, and I'm not going to talk about any spoilers. I usually try to avoid spoilers unless, like, we're having a very spoiler-filled discussion. But I definitely do not think it sounds that great, and the plot sounds pretty mediocre. Black Widow was not a good movie. I really did not like Black Widow. It wouldn't be all that hard to top Black Widow, I'm just gonna be honest. But Shang-Chi is just, it was a film that leading up to it, a lot of people were feeling kind of iffy about. And while there was a lot of media defending Shang-Chi, saying it was gonna be an amazing movie, there was a lot of outlets that were actually saying the predictions for Shang-Chi were really, really bad. That Shang-Chi was going to underperform, and it was going to do really terrible, and it wasn't going to do that good, and it was expected to fail, basically. And now that it hasn't, I mean, good for them. They made a movie that's done well in the pandemic era of movies, but, you know, should we really be judging movies now based on movies releasing, before 2 years ago? Well, some people argue yes, because this is the new age. Some people argue no. We're definitely going to talk about it. I saw Shang-Chi on Thursday. It was okay. Some cool fight scenes, and the third act was awesome, but it dragged in the middle. I personally hate movies that drag on and on and on. I understand when a movie is long or something's drawn out because it matters. Like, it's really important, and you really need to take it slow and understand what the plot's trying to tell you, or, Sometimes they put in scenes that really don't matter all that much, but they throw in a bunch of small information that ends up adding up. Yeah, like, that's okay. But when it just drags on and on and on with nothing good really in the middle, you know, that sucks. I'm not for it. Let me scroll up. Yeah, guys, the TTRPG definitely it's not something that I would be interested in. It's not something that I personally would probably buy. I'm just gonna be honest, I wouldn't. But my main issue with this is they are trying to sell more copies of this by creating drama surrounding their product. They're trying to get eyes on their product. They're trying to get attention on it by creating drama and saying, oh, we're being attacked. The description for this TTRPG is, it's truly a mess. It's a little bit of a freaking disaster. Whoo. Yeah. I don't think the people who went to see Shang-Chi were outspoken about it. I wasn't hyped for it, but I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it's been a film that I really wasn't all that hyped for either, and I'll give it a chance at some point. I try to watch most movies coming out, especially movies that, you know, take place in something like an MCU or a cinematic universe or an important storyline to a franchise I like. I usually try to give things a chance, like Discovery. Like, I tried to give Discovery a chance. We see how that turned out, but I still tried. I guarantee if Tripwire's CEO was a woman and shared the same tweet, she'd either be hailed as stunning and brave or fired. It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people on social media who praise women no matter what they say. Even if they disagree with their opinion, they say, well, they're allowed to have their own opinions. But when you're a man on social media and you have the wrong opinion to a certain group of people, they will not stop. They will go at you until your whole career is dust. You guys. Oh, isn't this the art you wanted? A strong, independent woman? Guys, I know that's your favorite type of art. You know, remember when EA told people not to buy Battlefield 5 if they didn't like it? If you don't like it, don't buy it. Which, I guess I understand, because, like, yeah, if you don't like something, obviously don't buy it. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about it. And we can't say how awful of a product it looks like. It's like companies, and we'll get started in just a minute with the first topic, but it's like companies think that if you don't buy something, that still means you can't critique it. Like, yeah, if you're talking about a movie, you definitely should see the movie before you, like, start talking about it, or you should see it leading up. You know, if you're talking about it, at least see it when it releases. Or like a game, you should at least try to give the game a chance, or at least watch a full playthrough of the game so you completely understand it if you're gonna talk shit about it. But, like, you still should be able to talk about things and give your opinions. And in this case, with this tabletop RPG, a lot of people who are not going to buy it definitely are giving their thoughts on it. I'm gonna be honest. It's not my type of product. But it's the company's responses, which are absolutely fucking garbage. And that, yeah, my eyes, guys. Come on. You guys are such negative Nancys over there. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I know that you guys love this artwork. No fascists or bigots allowed, guys. Never forget. No fascists or bigots allowed. Bigots are one thing, but fascists, guys. I mean, they're everywhere, huh? Alright. We'll get started with the first topic in 1 second. We're gonna start off with the Kotaku. because I don't want to waste too many brain cells with Kotaku. Kotaku is awful, and I still want to talk about this general article. We're not going to read all of it, but we are going to read some of it. It's Kotaku, so you know. It only takes 2 brain cells to really understand, but we might lose one in the process. Alright guys, so let's start with the first topic of the evening, which is gonna be Kotaku. Now, Kotaku loves to put out awful takes. There are constantly bad takes being put onto Kotaku's website, whether it's from Luke, or it used to be Schreier, or whoever's even left, because so many people have left Kotaku lately. They've gained people, and then they've lost people as fast as they've gained them. And Kotaku, sometimes, okay? Like, they used to sometimes put out decent articles with half-decent takes. Their reviews of tech used to not be that bad. But over the years, Kotaku has just... it has faded into irrelevancy for the most part, okay? Whenever you see people talking about a Kotaku article, it's usually not because it's a good article. Usually it's because it's a headline that's meant to get hate clicks. Or they're putting out the worst of the worst takes that they thought for some reason their audience was going to agree with. And in this case, we're talking about China's new gaming restrictions. Now, I did talk about this during last week's Vera After Dark discussion stream, but basically China has regulated people under 18 even more with the amount of time they can play video games. Now they can only play video games for an hour a day on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays. Not even your birthday, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot even play video games on your birthday. But they decided to put out this article a couple of days ago titled, "Please Free Me from the Bad Takes About China's Gaming Restrictions." I will never agree with China's gaming restrictions, no matter how much they open the floodgates at this point. Even if they said, 2 hours a day every day, or 3 hours a day every day, I do not care. I will never agree with any limits when it comes to things like gaming. I think people should be able to make their own decisions, and I think that parents should be able to say, I think my kid can play 3 hours a day or 1 hour a day. It should be a parent's responsibility to set the amount of time a kid can play a video game, not the government. But it says there's no one-size-fits-all take when you're dealing with millions of diverse gamers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Kotaku has decided to defend the CCP's gaming restrictions. Are we surprised? No. I wish that I could say I was surprised. I wish that I was surprised that Kotaku was putting out absolute garbage articles like this, but, well, I'm not. So it says, whenever any kind of news about China hits the internet, I brace myself for oversimplifications by English language writers and commentators. But in a country with roughly 720 million gamers, roughly twice the US population, the context behind the recent gaming restrictions placed on Chinese youth isn't as straightforward as narratives about sinister, big government politics might make it seem. Ah, yes, guys. English language writers and commentators, they just oversimplify things all the time. You wouldn't understand the complexity of the issues, especially regarding the Chinese youth. Oh boy, get me a fucking box of tissues. I sense a crier. Starting from September 1st, players under 18 years of age are restricted to 1 hour of gaming a day on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and public holidays. Again, not even your birthday. The restrictions imposed on players don't come from a law. It's an industry regulation recently passed by the National Press and Publication Administration. As a parallel example, imagine that you're an American company that wants to dump radioactive waste into a lake, and the environmental Environmental Protection Agency said that you can't do that. Regulations are specific rather than broadly applied to a populace. The NPPA is a government regulatory branch that oversees print, online, and broadcast media more broadly, but has sole purview over digital games. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, because telling people, oh, you can only play video games a certain amount of time every day and only on certain days is definitely the same as dumping radioactive waste into a lake. Yes. It's definitely the same exact thing. That is a great comparison, Kotaku. Under the regulations, gaming companies are tasked with preventing minors from accessing their games during certain times and to boot players after they run out of their allotted time. A publishing manager at a Chinese gaming company told Kotaku that Chinese games have previously been restricted to an hour and a half on weekdays and 3 hours on weekends and holidays, so the latest mandate is an extreme tightening of government regulations that have already existed since 2019. Yes, I've talked about these for years now. These things already have been in place, but they have cracked down on them so much. You used to be able to play video games during the week. Now you can't. Now it is only on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, and for a certain amount of time on those days. It says, why do these rules exist? While it might be tempting to generalize the Chinese government as inherently regulatory, it's important to consider that the gaming landscape in China is very different than in North America and Europe. Daniel Ahmed of Nico Partners told Kotaku that around 92 to 95% of the games made in China are based on a free-to-play model. So while Kotaku readers might think of first-party titles or self-contained indie games as what video games are, most Chinese players will probably think of a free multiplayer online battle arena, a MOBA game like Honor of Kings, or a gacha game like Genshin Impact. Wow, guys. It must be so hard. It must be so hard, your life, when you've decided to defend the CCP. When you've decided, these restrictions, they're not something that us people, us losers would understand. It says this means that gaming addiction and delinquent spending, two qualities associated with these types of games, are a much more prevalent concern in China compared to in the West. Well, maybe if the Chinese, regulatory boards weren't banning half the fucking games that were trying to get into the region, maybe there'd be less of these shitty free-to-play titles and there'd be more good games. More games that aren't completely filled to the brim with microtransactions. I guess when you're banning half the games coming into the region, 90% of the games coming into the region, and you're forcing companies to make games that, only check off certain bubbles, I guess, yeah, you end up with one type of game. But it says, for example, he mentioned that China's 15-year-old console ban was motivated by concerns about video game addiction, a ban that arguably led to the popularity of free-to-play games. I have talked about video game addiction in the past. It's not just video games that can be addicting, and I think that should be pretty obvious. While, yes, people could get addicted to video games, people can get addicted to literally anything. If you have an addictive personality type, you can get addicted to anything. I could get addicted to squishing this water bottle constantly or drinking too much water. I could get addicted to, doing drugs. I could get addicted to, to anything. That's the point. You can get addicted to so many different things. I could get addicted to playing video games, yes. But video games are not the only thing you can get addicted to, okay? I think that while, yes, people can get addicted to things like playing video games or have a problem with knowing when to stop or knowing when to stop spending, not even just playing, I think that when it comes to people talking about video game addiction, well, most of the time, their arguments are complete horseshit. It says China's lucrative $360 million esports industry poses another complication to a clear-cut anti-gaming narrative. According to one of these analysts, regional governments like the city of Shanghai are supportive of both esports and game development industries. Even though, you know, they don't allow most companies to get into the industry, and they don't allow most content into the industry. It says for a company like MiHoYo, which ranked 88th among all Shanghai's companies in terms of income, its tax contribution is an important part of the local economy. At national level, the Ministry of Education started categorizing esports management as an official major in 2016. There are a lot of people in this region who do want to get into the video game industry, who do love video games. Guys, it must be all that video game addiction, am I right? So it's pretty ridiculous to make broad statements about how the Chinese government is necessarily anti-gaming. Shanghai even has been welcoming to foreign offices such as Ubisoft and Activision. Yeah, guys, they're welcoming of Ubisoft and Activision as long as a company like Tencent has like a 20 or a 30% stake in the company, as long as these companies censor a shit ton of their content to appeal to this market, am I right? You can't get into the Chinese gaming industry unless you have a deal with one of these companies, like Tencent or NetEase. And you most certainly cannot put the type of content that Activision puts in their games into this region. They have to censor their games. They have to change things around. I mean, even look at World of Warcraft. There's a whole other version of World of Warcraft for this market. If we look at something like Hearthstone, they are constantly censoring the cards for Hearthstone, and they change around the designs. I mean, there's a lot of content that's been rumored that was supposed to go into titles from these companies that didn't end up making it because they were so worried about this region. That doesn't sound very gamer-friendly to me. That doesn't sound like they really do cherish the industry. I mean, they're very, very strict with what people can see and what people can experience, even in things like video games. It says, this is the biggest esports market in the world in a country with the most gamers. There's not a single Chinese interest when it comes to gaming, and the country's president isn't the one calling all the shots. It says, according to the report from the Beijing Youth Legal Aid and Research Center, over 90% of minors with gaming addiction problems are boys, and roughly 70% come from blue-collar families. If nearly 2/3 of parents reporting a video game addiction issue are laborers, then it reframes the narrative of the restrictions as a initiative that is mostly relevant to working families. I think that a big problem here is that the government, I've always said this, I always will say this, the government shouldn't be able to regulate what you do in your home when it comes to something like video games, okay? We're talking about a fucking video game. It is 100% the responsibility of parents and not the government to do. If a parent says my kid can play 5 hours of video games a day, then that should be the parent's decision. It shouldn't be up to the government to say, your child, this person, can only do this thing on this day for this amount of time. I mean, why would people defend things like this? Why would people say, oh, it's okay, the governments pass laws like this? These are laws that are passed to curtail people's freedom, which should never, ever be passed. Okay, I do not know how a gaming website could defend anti-gaming and anti-freedom things like this. Laws, regulations, restrictions, however you want to put it, it's still something that shouldn't be happening. Fuck the Chinese government. I always say this. Hashtag never going to China. It says, even after the gaming restrictions went into effect, I don't really think they'll resolve the factors that caused parents to demand stricter regulations to begin with. Again, I think that it should be parents' decisions as to how many video games a kid can play a day, how long. It shouldn't be up to the government to say, well, we don't want your kid doing this, this, and this, so they can only play on these days, this time. You know, that is pretty fucked up. This is not a gaming website, let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, shit-taku over here. It says China already has a gray market for PC and console games. They explained to Kotaku that since Steam is an overseas operation, it isn't held to the same regulatory standards. In fact, Steam had around 30 million Chinese users in 2018, and VPNs are a popular way to gain access to video games. But the NPPA's new regulations mostly target mobile games by design, as the analyst noted. Most minors are primarily mobile gamers and aren't heavy Steam users. And then Steam literally had to come out with their own version for that region. They had to create their own version of the client with certain games on it for China, for Chinese users. It says complying with the new rules isn't technically difficult because it's just a matter of writing new software development kits. SDKs are integrated as part of the login process. What happens is that the new players log in, they're asked to enter their ID numbers, which then verifies their age. And if you break these rules, if you play video games on the wrong days for certain amounts of time, it goes against your social credit score. And then if your social score is bad, you can't get on buses, trains, public transportation. You can't go into certain buildings, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. We're talking about video games here. Again, we're talking about video games for people under 18. In my opinion, it should be the parents' decision. And it is awful that Kotaku is defending these regulations like it's okay. Like, you know, it's just the government looking out for people. It's not. They're trying to curtail people's freedoms, which should not be okay. And people shouldn't just be all right with this saying, it's not that big of a deal. I talk about China a lot here on the channel, the Chinese gaming and entertainment industries, and a lot of people don't care, which in my opinion really sucks. Because while, yes, we're talking about the Chinese market, we're not talking about, you know, video games coming out in North America right now, like with this situation. We're not talking about a regulation that's being passed for most of us here, 99.9999% of us here, except maybe the one person that would ever watch my video, or the two people. We're talking about a market that does affect the products we get, because companies want to, you know, have their products appeal to this market as much as possible. And we have giant Chinese companies like Tencent investing in companies like Activision and Ubisoft, and they do have a say in the content that's created. I mean, we're not talking about a company that's just investing in another company like, oh, we're just here to help you out. No. Tencent is a company that wants to make money, and if you want to get your games in the region, in the Chinese region, you need to team up with companies like Tencent. So of course you're not gonna go behind their back and do things that they don't like, because then that completely ruins your chance of getting into the Chinese gaming market. But that's all that I really had to discuss with this topic. Kotaku is a fucking shit stain on the gaming industry. It sucks that Kotaku's such an awful website at this point, filled with people who are willing to defend things like China's new gaming restrictions, because it's not a one-size-fits-all, guys. We're talking about millions of gamers here. You just wouldn't understand. It's absolutely pitiful and absolutely ridiculous. But of course, what else should we expect from Kotaku? Kotaku are clowns. They are 100%. 100%. I wish I was surprised, but I'm honestly not. I'm truly and genuinely not. Yep, you need an ID number to play a video game. So when you create accounts, so like you have to have special accounts for things like video games, and like there's timers. So if your account is under 18, if you're under 18 and you're playing, there's a timer on your account for 1 hour a day. When you launch a game, the timer starts, and after that hour, it completely kicks you off of that game, and you cannot get back on until the next time you're allowed to play. You need ID numbers to play games, to go places, to do things. Everything. Which, if you have a bad social credit score, social score, you can't do things like go on public transportation. It is absolutely terrible. It really is. At least, I guess in my opinion, according to Kotaku, I'm just a stupid English speaker. My pea-sized brain just couldn't comprehend the complexities. Which is stupid, but it's okay. I don't really care what Kotaku thinks of me anyway. Hashtag never gonna be sponsored. It's alright. I'm not shedding a tear over it. Guys, I'm gonna start my own video game, you know, journalism website soon. What should we call it? Hey, I've been asked to before. Maybe one day. TM. The best games aren't even online. I think that some amazing games are online games, but obviously single-player games. Oof. You can have some amazing single-player games. Red Dead Redemption 2, very good game. True. I'm a real gamer. I have a Twitch account. Okay. Good old Twitch jokes. Guys, whatever fucking happened to the Twitch Safety Advisory Council? Guys, I'm taking applicants. I am starting a Safety Advisory Council for our YouTube chat. Okay, I'm done with the toxicity and negativity going on here. We're about to change the fate of the stream. Are you guys ready? I'm doing it. I'm gonna eat grass. I'm gonna get a fucking helmet with deer horns. Okay? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna really be a revolution of the times. I hope you're all ready. And we're gonna have other animals too. Aren't you guys hyped? We're gonna have a fucking horse. We're gonna have maybe a fox. I don't know, maybe we'll even have a fairy in there. I don't know. An elephant, okay? This Safety Advisory Council is gonna be lit. Sheesh. Ugh, TikTok. Ugh. That's gonna be a no from me. Isn't TikTok owned by Facebook? That's gonna be a yeah, no from me. Yep, journalist Vera coming to a website near you. TM. Soon. That's it, alright. I'd pay to see you cosplay a deer. Listen, it's not that. I shouldn't laugh at that because then it's gonna become a running joke. It's not funny. But also, Halloween is next month. Guys, I'm already fucking celebrating Halloween, let's be honest. I've got fucking fireplace candles behind me. Guys, I'm gonna order this mug I saw online that's literally a cat and it's got a little witch hat that goes on top of it. Guys, I've already bought like 5 Halloween sweaters, okay? It has been Halloween for half a month now. And if you don't like that, if there are any people in chat already getting ready for Christmas, leave. Okay? Halloween is superior. Guys, we're almost an hour into stream and I've talked about one topic. Oh boy. Owls are underrepresented in the safety advisory councils. Maybe we can have an owl, okay? Put in an application. First matter is you have to be a member of the channel. Hashtag, hashtag self-show. Okay, all cap. Vera is Halloween. Halloween's amazing. And if you don't like Halloween, well, you might as well go sit with Kotaku in the loser's corner. Fucking Kotaku. I don't think I've ever taken Kotaku seriously. Guys, I was gonna make a joke, but the problem is there are people that think, I've been told I'm a Gamergater before. Bitch, I was like 15 when Gamergate was happening, okay? Guys, I was sitting, little 14-year-old Vera, sitting on those Reddit forums, 4chan, 5chan, 20chan, okay? Me, 14-year-old squeaker Vera on Xbox Live, talking shit about Kotaku during Gamergate. I know you're all surprised. I'm quite a woman, I know. I don't need an ego boost, okay? but Kotaku's been irrelevant for me literally since I was like 13 looking up guides on the internet. Kotaku. Christmas is better than Halloween, Sonic. You are... Wow. You're definitely an interesting person, let me just say that. Guys, it is not Christmas. Okay, it is Halloween. Spooky season. Those were the days, man. 13-year-old Vera sitting in my parents' basement, you know, my neck beard, just on Reddit and 20chan, talking shit about Kotaku. The Gamergate days were truly magical. When was, oh yeah, 2014? Yeah, it was like 2014. Guys, I think I was like 15. I don't know. I'm turning 23. That's all I know. Looking up guides, because they had already started phasing out actual video game guides by then. You had to Google everything. It's okay, guys. Well, it started in 2014, and I mean, according to some people on the internet, Gamergate is still going to this day. If you have lived to tell the tale, okay? If you're alive today, you have lived through a truly magical time, because Gamergate, if you didn't know, is still going on. It's... Sheesh! It is shocking, I know. But Gamergate is still going on. The legend says to this day. People are losers. No cap. Okay, guys. Yeah, no, Gamergate was 2014. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you guys knew, but Wikipedia now says Gamergate, and it says in, quotes, harassment campaign. It was, yeah, 2014. It was middle of 2014. But, I mean, it's still going, so, yeah. Alright, guys, let's move on to the next topic of the evening, which are going to be kind of two topics at once. We'll kind of start with one, and then we'll move into the other. They're both Marvel topics, but I've talked about Marvel a lot over the past couple of weeks, leading up to Shang-Chi's launch. Black Widow, in my opinion, was a pretty freaking terrible movie. I was not very impressed with it, and I know a lot of other people were not as well, but... After Black Widow launched and we heard about the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, there's been a lot of different things going on in the world of Marvel, because we heard that, like, some other actresses were apparently considering suing Marvel over contract breaches, just like Scarlett Johansson did. We heard that Emma Stone was thinking about it, Emily Blunt was thinking about it, but now... Marvel is facing an issue where it doesn't sound like a lot of people want to work with them. A lot of people are very worried that a Scarlett Johansson type of situation could happen to them next. Specifically, two people that have been very important to the MCU, the Russo brothers. Because apparently, the Russo brothers are at an impasse to direct another Marvel movie after the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. This is a couple days old, and I've been wanting to talk about it, but there really hasn't been a lot of information. I was hoping maybe there'd be more info coming out. Apparently not, but it says Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company over her payments for the Black Widow movie skyrocketed Hollywood in a big way after it was announced. I did talk about it several times. It's definitely caused a wave, because obviously Scarlett Johansson is a pretty big actress. She's one of the highest paid actresses. She's super important, blah de blah de blah. Scarlett Johansson's like a 7 out of 10. But Scarlett Johansson's made quite a lot of waves in the entertainment industry ever since announcing this. But it says not only did a nasty back and forth take place between the actress's camp and the House of Mouse, but it also has apparently affected Marvel Studios' ability to bring back talent into the MCU. In a report on the Wall Street Journal about the fallout of her legal filing, the outlet claims that the uncertainty of the lawsuit has caused filmmakers Joe and Anthony Russo to think twice about returning for a new Marvel movie. Now, they definitely are people that are important to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At least, in my opinion, you know, they have worked on plenty of projects, as it says, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and of course, Avengers Endgame. I personally, all these 4 movies, for me, were not my top tier MCU films, my top tier MCU flicks. I personally thought that Endgame was just kind of... It wasn't awful, it just also wasn't as breathtaking as everyone says that it was. But it says the Russo brothers seemingly departed the MCU after directing the biggest movie of all time in the 2019 feature film. Yeah, well, you know, you know, wait until they release Avatar for the 20 millionth time so it can overthrow. The pair have frequently spoken hypothetically about returning for projects. Films like an adaptation of Secret Wars and recasting Wolverine in the MCU have been their benchmarks for coming back. But according to this report, they may not want to if their bottom line is being threatened. Obviously, when people see a company is screwing over actors and directors, they become worried that they could go through a similar problem and then no one's going to want to work with them. We are talking about actors and directors that can go anywhere and get any jobs. I'm just saying it now. Scarlett Johansson's a giant name in the entertainment industry. She could go and work for basically whatever company and basically whatever movie she wanted to. And these are directors that, yeah, I mean, they could go and work on tons of other projects. So of course it's going to create an issue where no one's going to want to work with these companies because they're worried that their bottom line could be the next on the line. Okay, they maybe they could get screwed over next, and then it creates that worry and that doubt, and then they're like, it's not worth it. It truly isn't. So it says the Wall Street Journal wrote that since the lawsuit has been filed, that the pair hit an impasse in negotiations to direct another Marvel movie, and that the discord between talent in the studio left them unsure how their next movie would be distributed and how they would be paid. The things that Scarlett Johansson basically said were issues. She said that it was supposed to be on supposed to be on Disney Plus, and it was supposed to just be a theatrical exclusive for, I don't remember what she said, 90 days, I believe it is. And she also said, because they put it onto Disney Plus, it ended up screwing, over my bottom line. I was supposed to get bonuses for how well it did in theaters, even though she already got paid, $20 million or something. Anyway, that was the issue. So they're basically saying that they're worried about the same exact problems happening to them. It says, I keep saying Secret Wars because that was one of the first books that I really fell in love with as a kid. Joe said in an interview back in 2019, this notion of, event storytelling, and I think that's part of the reason why we gravitate so strongly towards these events and films and these ensemble films, is that notion that you can contain so many different characters and so many different points of views and galvanize them around a story point is really compelling to us. I do not think that they are bad by any means. I do think that they have helped create some pretty good MCU movies, some successful MCU movies. But at the same time, if there are directors that are hearing about people like the Russo brothers not wanting to work with Disney anymore, a lot of other big main directors, a lot of mainstream Hollywood directors are going to go, if they're not going to work with Disney, even though they have 4 times in the past, why would I want to go and work with them? It definitely sounds very logical as to why they would not want to go and work with them, but they might have costed themselves some pretty big names in the industry, names they have worked with before. And I'm not defending this lawsuit or Scarlett Johansson, but I'm defending contracts because they exist for a reason. So when a giant company like Disney starts trying to not honor them, yeah, people are going to refuse to work with you, and they should. Contracts exist for a reason. Scarlett Johansson signed a contract, and even though she signed it before the pandemic, and obviously she signed it and things changed, Disney should have sat down with her and actually came out with an agreement that worked for her and also them, but they didn't. She's saying, at least her legal team is saying, that Disney basically ignored her, ignored all of their requests to sit down and talk about it, which obviously is going to lead to a lot of problems and a lot of back and forth. And no one's really going to trust the company. There's still going to be people that are going to work with them. You know, they're a giant company. They're still going to be able to get cast members and directors, creative team members for whatever projects they want to do. But at the same time, they're kind of ruining a lot of the reputation they have in Hollywood, because there are a lot of people that still like them. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that like this company that now I'm sure are like, well, I definitely don't think that I want to work with them anytime soon. But it finishes off with the pair have also pointed to characters like the X-Men and Fantastic Four being brought into the MCU as an option that might be too fun to pass on if they were approached. As we know, Marvel Studios has already hired Spider-Man No Way Home director John Watts to helm the new Fantastic Four movie, but no official plans for the X-Men have been confirmed. And then it says, save for a Deadpool 3 featuring Ryan Reynolds. It doesn't surprise me that so many people now are going to come out and talk about how they don't want to work with Disney or they're at an impasse. We have Scarlett Johansson. We have the Russo brothers. We've heard rumors that Emily Blunt was going to sue, that Emma Stone was going to sue, and ultimately, it's all rumors and speculation right now, because if Disney really wants the Russo brothers, they'll probably get them. But I guess we'll have to see. And right now, at least, these are the big worries for people like the Russo brothers. They're afraid to kind of work with Disney because they're worried that Disney's going to end up screwing them out, out of the funds that they're owed, out of the deals that they make, and out of the contracts that they sign. But we'll move into the next topic in just a minute, which is going to be Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi. Huh, guys? Everyone's favorite movie, apparently. Apparently, it's the best thing since sliced cheese. Apparently, just, oh my gosh, can't get enough of it. Guys, I've already gone to see it 32 times in theaters. No, not funny. Guys, apparently Shang-Chi's just, apparently it's just chef's kiss. I mean, according to reviewers and critics, aka shills, apparently it's fantastic. Rumors, speculation, and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is the bomb diggity. Mayonnaise is great. Confirmed. Really quickly, guys, we'll move into the next topic in a minute, but if you're enjoying the live stream, please make sure to give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way. If you're enjoying the streams, please consider becoming a member of the channel. You get access to a special badge next to your name, some special emotes. We are going to be having some new emotes made soon. And tomorrow evening, really quickly, tomorrow evening, I'll talk about it more at the end, but I will be doing a supporter-only live stream, so if you are a Patreon, a member of the channel, or a supporter, or a donator via direct donations and Streamlabs, you get access to that stream. It will be like a Q&A, playing some video games, hanging out for a while. So yeah, tomorrow will be a special supporter stream, so consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, becoming a member of the channel, or donating via Streamlabs. All of the links are in the description. And of course, I appreciate all the support. Thanks for being here. At the end of the day, Disney is scummy. Big true. No lies detected. Only facts. All facts, no printer. Very true. We'll see if it holds into week 2. Yeah. It might be one of those movies that does great launch weekend, and then after like 2 weeks, it completely fizzles out. Which wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I can see the future, and that it will 100% happen, but it wouldn't be surprising. A non-racist would have watched it 47 times in theaters? Ah, shit, here we go again. Guys, my internalized misogyny, my internalized whatever, toxicity, whatever, yeah, whatever the buzzword is of the day, it's here. It's oozing. from all of my cracks. Chipotle mayo with sweet potato fries is the best. Sweet potatoes? That shit is gross. Just saying. That's gonna be a no for me. Oh no. See, One Piece. I'm just so worried about the new One Piece series. I am really worried. I did a video on it, but oh boy, that is worrying. It is genuinely worrying. Oh no. Guys, who thought that that was a good idea? I'm just gonna ask. Who thought that that was okay? Don't need to see Shang-Chi a second time. I'm seeing Malignant this Friday. I'm hoping that that one's gonna be good. I mean, I guess we'll see, but I hope it's not gonna be bad. I mean, I've only ever gone to see like 2 or 3 movies multiple times in theaters. All truths lead to Twin Peaks. That's true. It's those owls. It's a fine cup of coffee. They haven't learned a thing from Dragon Ball Evolution. They haven't learned a thing about anything at any point in time. I mean, you would think that Netflix would have learned after, like, Death Note and after all this Cowboy Bebop backlash. Like, maybe this isn't the time to greenlight another live-action anime adaptation, but they do not care. They think that that's gonna make them money. So I guess we'll have to see how those series do. I don't think that Cowboy Bebop, the live-action series, or One Piece are going to do all that well. Bruh, Cowboy Bebop though, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be... I mean, I love Cowboy Bebop, do not get me wrong, but Cowboy Bebop live action done by Netflix with CW level costumes, ooh, that's gonna be a no from me. That's gonna be a big no from me. You haven't tried sweet potato fries or don't like them? Do not like them. I do not like sweet potatoes. And sweet potato fries are no exception to the rule. Oof. Shang-Chi will change the world, will it? Because it hasn't changed the world yet. And it's already been out for 5 days? I mean, it should have only been out an hour and it should have changed the world. I mean, the social justice that should be flowing through everyone's body. It should be just flowing through existence. Flowing through the air. I mean, if it truly was gonna change the world, right? Cowboy Bebop live action series dead in the water already. I mean, I think that there are a lot of people who do use Netflix that do not look at social media, who do not know, like, the drama going on with it, but I think that, yeah, a lot of people that would be interested in it are probably not very interested in it now, after everything that's happened. Spicy sweet potato fries are the best. Ugh. It's gonna be a no for me. That's gonna be a no for me. I think the Cowboy Bebop shit is kind of overblown. I mean, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. But I disagree with your opinion. And that's okay. Woke note, woke boy Bebop, resident woke, they all suck. Very true. They do actually all suck. I thought no one would attempt Cowboy Bebop, considering how much work that would require to get it right in live action. Yeah, I mean, it is gonna be, it is going to be a challenge, but I think that they're out, truly, is that they said it's not gonna be a 1-to-1. They said it's gonna be very different. So, that right there's, they're out, because even if they fuck it up, or it looks awful, they could say, well, it wasn't a 1-to-1, so we just, you know, changed things around, and then it's gonna be so dumbed down. It is not gonna be good. I can tell. Not confirmed. But my vision power, I'm seeing into the future right now, it's a trash trash series. You know, it's the way it goes, though. Look at how bad Death Note was when Netflix did that. The second they said Cowboy Bebop, I just knew they would mess it up. Yeah, a lot of animated series are not that easy to adapt to live action. You would need a ton of CGI. You'd need a lot. It's not even just CGI. It's the writing. It's just, a lot of these properties do not seem like they would be that good in live action. I think that there are some that could work, and I'm not saying that they're all destined and bound to fail, but at the same time, I understand that Netflix wants to make money, and they think that that's going to be a great way to bring people into their service and keep people entertained, and that's the content people want to see. I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, there's been some good Netflix anime that has been good that wasn't live action that they should totally stick with. But they're more worried about taking existing properties like Cowboy Bebop and completely twisting them so that they can push their own special brand of activism into them. But, you know, are we that surprised? No. Because that's what happens now. Favorite type of potato? I don't know, to be honest. Baked, mashed, fried, all of the above. One Piece and Cowboy Bebop? Live action is gonna suck? Probably. Probably. I mean, it's not that hard to see that they're not gonna do good by these franchises, by these series. They're not gonna try to make them good. Not respecting the source material is a bad start. Very true. That is the worst way that you can start a project, is going into something not giving a singular fuck about the source material. But are we surprised? No, not really. Alright guys, let's move into the next topic of the evening, which is gonna be Shang-Chi. Now, I've talked about Shang-Chi a couple of times, and this one's gonna be a pretty quick topic. But Shang-Chi is finally released. Everyone's loving it, apparently. AKA not everyone. And it has done relatively good for a pandemic movie release. There has been a lot of media defending this film. A lot of critics are saying it's amazing. It's one of the best MCU films. But despite shill media's praises, Shang-Chi has the third worst opening weekend in MCU history. So while it has done decent for a pandemic film, it also hasn't been the most successful MCU movie. So it says, while the shill media is praising Disney and Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi for breaking Labor Day box office records, the truth is that the film had one of the worst opening weekends in the entire history of the MCU. Is it surprising to hear that the media is trying to defend this film, saying it's amazing, it's, you know, had the best Labor Day opening of all time, and it's just such a perfect movie, even though it still has had one of the worst opening weekends in the MCU history now? It's really not that surprising to hear that the media is doing their very best to paint this movie in a good light. And it's actually pretty funny because over the past, month, a lot of the media outlets that are now defending it were actually kind of shitting on it, saying, oh, it's predicted to underperform, you know, it doesn't sound like it's gonna do that good. But now that it's doing good, the media's twisted their tune a third time. But it says, the numbers reports the film earned $75.5 million in its opening domestic weekend. That includes box office totals from September 2nd to the 5th. If you include Labor Day, the film grossed a total of $90 million. It does say, looking at just the film's opening domestic weekend and excluding Labor Day, it is the 5th worst opening weekend in the MCU universe history based on gross totals. The only films it bests are Thor, Captain America, The First Avenger, Ant-Man, and The Incredible Hulk. Guys, hot take, I actually didn't think the first Ant-Man movie was that bad. Oh, and an even bigger hot take, I actually didn't think Thor was that bad. I actually do not think any of the Thor movies are that bad. Ooh. I know people did not really like Dark World. I understand. I get it, guys. I understand the things that people do not like. I actually have liked most of the Thor films. It says Thor had an opening weekend of $65.7 million back in 2011. First Avenger brought in $65 million. Ant-Man grossed $57.2 million. And The Incredible Hulk earned $55.4 million in 2008. The Incredible Hulk. That is a movie that I have not seen in a hot minute. Guys, I think it's time for me to get back on the Incredible Hulk bandwagon and rewatch this shit. I've been thinking about... Listen, okay? I've been thinking about rewatching all the Marvel movies, all the MCU movies. But there's so many, like, I've seen once that I would never want to see again. Because I'm not one of these half-assers that's like, I don't want to watch this movie, so I'm going to skip it. So I'd have to watch all of them. And I'm just so not looking forward to, like, the Captain America movies. A Captain Marvel. Like, there's a lot of them that I'm not looking forward to rewatching. Hey, really quickly, do you guys know of any websites that has like that's like a graph where you can rank your favorite Marvel movies? Because we can do that one time, and I could truly ruin your guys' day. Because my favorite movies in the MCU are like ones that people do not like. Like, if we did one of those charts that's like a photo, and then it's like, oh, you just move the photo of your favorite one under the tiers, like S tier, A, B, C, you guys would be so disappointed with me. I know it for a fact. Anyway, it says, while Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings beat all of those films in total gross, if you factor in inflation, it only beats out The Incredible Hulk and Ant-Man. That means Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings had the third worst opening weekend in the entire history of the MCU. Even if you include Labor Day and bring the film's opening to $90 million, it only passes 4 other films, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, and Thor: The Dark World. It becomes the 9th worst grossing MCU film. However, if you factor in inflation, it only beats out Black Widow and Ant-Man and the Wasp, along with The Incredible Hulk, Ant-Man, First Avenger, and Thor, and that makes it good for the 7th worst MCU film. Not only does it have the 3rd worst opening weekend in the entire history of the MCU, but the film was only available to view in theaters, and it was still bested by Black Widow, which had an opening weekend of $80.3 million. Now, I have not seen Shang-Chi yet. I've read the plot. I've seen the spoilers. I know what it's about. Doesn't sound that impressive to me. Sounds like another one of those Marvel movies that's like, oh yeah, hey, you watch it once and maybe you kind of enjoyed it, and like maybe it's not the worst thing, but like it's also one of those movies that you would not go back to watch like a second time or a third time. It just doesn't sound like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But it says, according to Disney, not only did Black Widow earn $80.3 million at the box office in its opening weekend, but it also earned an additional $60 million from its premiere access on Disney+. Black Widow was a bad movie. I did not like it. I was not a huge fan of it. If you liked it, good for you. I'm super happy for you. I was not impressed with it. I just thought it was a couple years too late. The CGI wasn't all that great. It's just, it was mediocre, was lacking. Could have been better. For sure. But it says, while Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings did have one of the worst opening weekends in MCU history, it did beat industry estimates. Box Office Pro predicted the film would have an opening weekend between $35 million and $55 million, and the numbers box office prediction model originally predicted the film would earn $66 million. However, once the Thursday preview numbers came in at 8.8, they adjusted it upwards and predicted the film would earn $72.3 million. So yeah, it did do better than initial estimates predicted, which is ultimately great for Disney, Marvel. It's great for all these people who were super excited about this movie. I wasn't excited for it. It was a film that looked really mediocre. I wasn't a fan of the marketing. I wasn't a fan of the actor going on social media saying, we are not just an experiment in a phase. We're the revolution and we're gonna change, entertainment and blah, 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 blah. It just seemed like one of these, again, Marvel movies. It's like, yeah, you watch it once and you might not have the worst time with it, but at the same time, it wouldn't be a film you'd watch 2 or 3 or 4 times. And I'm someone who, if I like a movie, I watch it tons and tons and tons of different times. But it didn't do that bad. It was a great Labor Day success, but it's also important to note that we are talking about a pandemic box office. Even though magically, because this movie's doing great, all the pandemic fears have just been washed away for the weekend. And when Black Widow failed, well, it didn't fail, but it didn't do as great as they thought it was going to do 2 months ago. They were like, oh my gosh, it's the pandemic. It's the effects of the pandemic. But it just kind of seems like, while yes, it didn't do awful, it also still didn't do what some people thought it was going to do. Did this movie excite people to the point where they are already looking for another Shang-Chi movie, or they're saying, I can't wait to see the rest of the Phase 4 of MCU? No. Even the people who were excited for it, who went and saw it, there hasn't been a lot of talk about Shang-Chi besides, oh, it did good. Which, yeah, if you're a fan of this movie, then yeah, you should be saying on social media, yeah, it did good. That's awesome. But it's important to keep in mind that it did good for a pandemic box office. It's not like we're sitting here talking about, oh, the best MCU movie ever, because it wasn't. But that's all that I really had to discuss with Shang-Chi. When I've watched it, I'll watch it sometime relatively soon. When I finally watch it, I'll let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on it. But right now, I'm not going to give my thoughts on it because I've only read the plot and the spoilers. I haven't seen it with my own eyes. Am I any more excited for it after reading the spoilers? No, I'm truly not. Shang-Chi was okay, but I didn't go to see it again tonight for Tuesday night discounts on MCU movie. I need to see multiple times in theaters. And that, to me, is something that marks a movie as being good. Like, if I want to go to a theater and see a movie 3 times or 4 times, then yeah, I see that as a really good movie. And, well, seems like a lot of people just want to see it once and be done with it. I'll give it a chance at some point. I will. Thank you for the $25 donation. Shang-Chi. Yeah, Kevin Smith wept uncontrollably at Shang-Chi. Thank you, Christopher, for the $25 donation. Thank you. That's like a piece of popcorn at the movie theater. Guys, movie theaters are they're not my jam anymore. Movie theaters are fun for super, super hyped up movies. Otherwise, I would much rather just sit at home watching a movie when I want to watch it. Not at a certain time, with no breaks. None of that for me. But I still go. Yeah, maybe when it hits a $5 bin. Yeah, I get that. Just wait until it's a nice $5 movie and then see it. That might be all it's worth. Alright guys, so let's move into the next topic of the evening, which is gonna be Tripwire. Now, over the weekend there has been a lot of talk surrounding the Tripwire Games situation, and I haven't talked about it in a video. I plan to only talk about it once, unless something changes, something drastic happens. But this has been a situation that a lot of people have been very mixed on. Thank you, Ron, for becoming a Bronze Titan. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Dark Titans. Thank you. A lot of people have been very mixed on the Tripwire Games situation, and I understand why, but I mainly wanted to talk about it because at its core, we are talking about cancel culture, and we are talking about someone being thrown out of an industry for having an opinion that people like game journalists do not like. So Tripwire Games president John Gibson has stepped down after being denounced by mainstream video game industry for his support of the Texas Heartbeat Act. So Tripwire Games president John Gibson, whose studio is home to such popular titles as Killing Floor and Maneater, has stepped down from his position after receiving a wave of backlash and criticism from his peers in the mainstream video game industry for his public support of the Texas Heartbeat Act. Now, I am not here to agree or disagree with him and what he says, as we'll see in a minute. I'm here to defend his right to express his opinion without being canceled over it. So it says Gibson first voiced his support for the newly passed legislation on September 4th, so only a couple of days ago, writing to his personal Twitter account, as it says, proud of the hashtag U.S. Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. As an entertainer, I don't get political often, yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of this issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. Now, he thought that this was going to be a tweet that was going to do him well. Okay, he thought that posting about this on social media was going to help him. That was going to get him and his company more sales and more attention. It definitely didn't do what he wanted it to do. It says, unsurprisingly, voicing his opinion soon led to him being labeled terrible things. It led to a lot of attacks on him and also his career. It says, and shortly after he published this tweet, numerous individuals appeared in his mentions to inundate his initial tweet with vitriolic condemnation. Jesus fuck, man, really? You're all about this fucked Texas bounty law that pushes us closer to some kind of Gilead dystopian religious state? Really? Okay, Corey, making fucking Handmaid's Tale fucking references here. Okay, sure. I mean, what the fuck, man? Seriously? How come anyone can be proud of claiming dominion over a woman's personal freedoms? The Gears of War designer Cliff, of course, you all know Cliff. Yeah, man, you can unfollow me now. Thanks. Mitch Dyer said, I don't get political often, but when it comes to regulating what women do with their bodies, I take a stand. Gotham Knights and Star Wars Squadrons writer mocked. This is also someone who has posted a lot of really shitty things about men on social media. I've talked about them in previous videos. Deeply disheartening. You have players and probably employees. This actively hurts. There are a lot of people who went against him, his comments, and basically said, fuck you. Basically said, your opinion is shitty, and I am not sitting here saying that I agree with what he said, but he has a right to voice his opinions, okay? If he stands with this, that's his choice, that is his opinion. You can respectfully disagree with his opinions, but that's not what's happening here, okay? He is being dogpiled by people in the industry, and that is not okay. I am not saying that I agree with his opinion, but lots of other people share his viewpoint and, you know, say, oh, he should be fired. There's people on one side saying he should be fired, and there's also a lot of people who are saying he should not be fired. Should he be fired and blacklisted from the industry over putting out a single tweet with his opinion on a situation? No. Whether I agree or disagree with his opinion, I am not sitting here saying someone should be canceled, have their career ruined, simply because they have an opinion that there are people that do agree with him on. So it says he was further denounced by 2 of Tripwire Game Studios' development partners, and they even said, we do not share the opinion expressed in a recent tweet by the president of Tripwire, publisher of Chivalry 2. This perspective is not shared by our team, nor is it reflected in the games we create. This statement stands in opposition to what we believe about women's rights. And it says, similarly, one of Tripwire Games' longtime co-development partners announced both that we cannot in good conscience continue to work with Tripwire under the current leadership structure, and that they would begin the cancellation of our existing contracts effective immediately. Ultimately, Following the nearly 2 constant days of public outcry, Tripwire released a statement announcing that Gibson would be stepping down as the company's CEO. And it's not even good enough for the people that are furious over the situation, which is very telling, okay? We have a guy that stepped down from his position as a CEO, aka he was fucking fired. They probably told him, you gotta leave. Okay, we're talking about someone who has left the company, who now has a very bad public image just because he posted his opinion on social media. And it's not even enough to the people online who were mad at him for posting this opinion. Okay, there are still people who are saying that he should be blacklisted from the industry. No one should ever want to work with him again. It says Alan has been with the company since its formation in 2005 and is an active lead in both the studio's business and developmental affairs, the statement continued. Alan will work with the rest of the Tripwire leadership team to take steps with employees and partners to address their concerns. And this is the new guy, the co-founding member and current VP Alan Wilson. He's taking over as the interim CEO. It says his understanding of both the company's culture and the creative vision of our games will carry the team through this transition with full support from the other Tripwire leaders. It says, what do you make of him stepping down from Tripwire Interactive? Let us know your thoughts. Now, in my opinion, you cannot silence people just because you don't like what they say. I think that we can separate art from the artist, and we should, and a lot of people do agree with that. Again, do I agree with all of his opinions that he's ever posted on social media? Because let's keep in mind that John Gibson is someone who has in the past posted opinions on social media. He's never been a super quiet guy. He's never been extremely vocal, but he has posted other opinions on social media. Do I agree with everything that he said? No. Am I saying, oh, right now I agree with this statement that he made that's gotten him canceled? I'm not sitting here defending him. Defending those statements, agreeing or disagreeing with those. Okay, what I'm defending, though, is his right to be able to put his opinion on social media. He should be allowed to put his opinion on social media and not have to worry about having his career ruined over it. Okay? That's the biggest problem here for me, is that these people who have said that he should be kicked out of the industry will never ever think anything is good enough. Okay, he stepped down from being the CEO of this company, from being a face of this company, and there are still people going after him, attacking him, and it's not going to be enough for them. If he ever shows his face in this industry again, people are always going to bring up, oh, that one comment you made in 2021. He's never going to be able to live these comments down. And I understand that people do not like his opinion. It's okay if you do not like his opinion. It is your right to have your opinion, and it's also his right to have his own opinion. Okay? I'm not saying I agree with what he said, but he does have a right to voice his opinion. You can respectfully disagree with it, but that's not what's happening. There are people that are being, let's just say, the worst type of people that they can be. They could just say, I think your opinion's fucking garbage, and not call for companies to fire him, to not work with him, to basically kick him out of the industry. But of course, that's not what is happening. But that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. He did decide to step down, aka he was fired. Let's be honest, he was fired. Because he voiced his support for the new Texas Act. And, you know, people do have a right to be able to voice their opinions on social media. But of course, if it's not what the Kotakus agree with, and it's not what the Corys agree with, and it's not what the Cliffs agree with, you're going to be dogpiled, and you're going to be canceled. And that's just the way it goes. That's the way that these people act. So that's all that I really had to discuss with that, guys. Let me know your thoughts in chat. I'll read a couple of comments. Why should he be kicked out of his company? Well, you know, when you have a company and there's 3 people that are in the partnership and 2 of them want you out, unfortunately, it's the way that it goes. You end up getting kicked out. Yep, 99% of the gaming industry can say whatever political opinions they want and face 0 backlash. It's like the people that, you know, say, fuck white men, basically. There are plenty of people in the video game industry who say stuff like that. And there's people that laugh with them and think that it's okay. Now imagine if we changed the skin color there. Whoever said that comment would be canceled in a second. He can think whatever he wants, but he did not send that tweet on the company's site. He sent that tweet on his own Twitter account, where he's very frequently posted his own opinions. That is obviously, when you're someone who owns a company, anything really you post on social media could reflect the company. But he didn't post it on, like, the main company account. He posted it on the Twitter account that had his own name on it. So, yeah. It was his personal account. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna... No matter what happens, Tripwire Games is a company that in the past hasn't completely virtue signaled or made statements to get attention, but they've made some, like, virtue signally posts in the past, few and far between. But the company has made some virtue signally posts before. They're one of those companies that will, you know, post something the first day of a special month, and then they'll remove the profile pictures and the posts on the first day of the next month. It's definitely an interesting situation, though. Again, you can't silence people just because you don't like what they have to say. People are allowed to have their own opinions. You can disagree with them. But, wow, people online are ruthless. They really are. Tripwire, I wouldn't say that they've made only niche titles. They have made niche titles, yes, but I wouldn't say all of them are niche. They are known. It's not like they're unknown in the industry. I mean, people know them. Yeah, they most likely hurt themselves more than helped, because now they've got both sides mad at them. So they have the people who fucking hated John Gibson's statements. They have those people who aren't going to purchase their games no matter what. And now they've upset the people who supported John Gibson and his right to be able to post his own opinions on social media. Now they've pissed off those people who do not think he should have been fired. So no matter which way you slice the cake, there's people mad at them who are not going to buy their games. Yep, I mean, they've posted about BLM before. They've posted, you know, Pride Month posts. They've made posts that, you know, I'm just saying. As Chris said, the hypocrisy is ripe. They've made posts themselves. It's not like they're a company that has never made a post about social issues going on, or about, you know, virtue signally topics. They're a company that wants to make money and wants attention. And, you know, when the negative press starts, if they have to throw this guy under the bus, of course, the business partners are going to go, yeah, we're going to throw him under the bus. Killing Floor is amazing. Yeah, you know, Killing Floor, in my opinion, I didn't think it was amazing. But I didn't think it was absolutely terrible. Everyone's got their own opinion though. And I'm not trying to cancel everyone over having their own opinion. Alright guys, I'm gonna quickly read about this last topic of the evening. I will be doing a video on this tomorrow, but I thought that I could quickly go through it. It's about... Oh boy, how do I even wanna start this and say this? It's about a company that does not want our money. Good. Works for me. I mean, I'm willing to save my money. Because dumbasses tell me to save my money. If you want me to save my money, speak no more. Evil Hat Productions attempts combative marketing for their new tabletop RPG Thirsty Sword Lesbians by declaring, if you don't like our politics, don't buy our games. Speak no more. Thank you. I will save my money. Now this, as you're going to read, as we're going to painfully read together, this is definitely a project that I do not think anyone really here would be that interested in. But if you guys think that this sounds amazing, please feel free to purchase. It says, in what can only be described as a bizarre attempt to garner attention and a few extra sales, Evil Hat Productions recently chose to market their newly released tabletop RPG, Thirsty Sword Lesbians, by decrying an imagined group of critics and asserting, if you don't like our politics, don't buy our games. Now, guys, you might think that Thirsty Sword Lesbians might be a little bit of a spicy game. Might be a little spicy. No, it's not that type of spicy. I'm sorry. A role-playing game powered by queer love and the apocalypse. I don't use the word cringe very often because I'd like to think that I'm a little bit smarter than most people who use the word cringe. The word cringe is kind of cringe. But this is, very cringe. Released on June 7th following a resoundingly successful Kickstarter campaign, which raised $298,000 across 8,152 backers, from an initial goal of 20,000, Thirsty Sword Lesbians is described as a role-playing game for telling queer stories with friends. This actually went pretty successfully. This actually did pretty decent. The Kickstarter campaign got $300,000! I don't know who is buying this, but good for you. If you like this type of content, you are allowed to like this type of content. I am not sitting here saying this type of content should not be created. There are obviously people who want to, play these types of games, who want to experience this content. If that is you, good for you. You go girl, boy, zim, zing zong, you go for it. I am not sitting here saying this type of content should not exist. It is not a game for me. It is nothing for me, but that doesn't mean that I can't dunk on it a little bit. It says, if you love angsty disaster lesbians with swords, you have come to the right place. In this book, you'll find flirting, sword fighting, and zingers in a system designed for both narrative drama and player safety. Oh boy, guys, listen. I am not Starfire, got worse. Sorry. I am not Starfire, truly. We didn't think it could get worse. It did. I'm not laughing. Very serious discussion here, guys. On the game's Kickstarter campaign page, Creator April Kit Walsh and Evil Hat Productions founder Fred Hicks further explained, it is explicitly designed to tell melodramatic and queer stories, tales of fraught with relationship triangles, mystery, and intrigue, relationship anarchy, celebration, and revolution. It includes rules to highlight different identities, emotional connections, and setting elements. This game is not for fascists, TERFs, or other bigots. They are acting like fascists and TERFs are just normal people. You walk down the street to your local farmer's market. What's up, my fellow group of fascists? Like, they're acting like... Okay. They're literally acting like those type of people are just normal people. April Kit Walsh, she, her, or Z-Zer rates queer games about feelings, vulnerability, and caring for one another. She used to be a sword-fighting ballerina, but claims those days are behind her. She has absolutely no idea who that masked heroine with the sword and the tutu might be. I'm not saying anything about this creator. She created what she wanted to create. Good for her. But, of course, here's where things start to go wrong, okay, guys? Here's where things start to go a little fucking wonky, okay? They decided to put out a tweet. Evil Hat Productions put out this tweet, which is truly baffling, okay? They said, there's no such thing as an apolitical game. Okay, tell that to Frogger. This page from Thirsty Sword Lesbians sums up our stance quite nicely. I completely disagree with this. I think that there are things such as apolitical games. 100%. They said, reminder, if you don't like our politics, don't buy our games. They save me some cash. I know you guys were really looking forward to the review of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I know you guys. You were so excited for my full 2-hour review of Thirsty Sword Lesbians live reading here on the channel. But guys, they told me I can't buy their game. I'm sorry. I know you're heartbroken. Guys, can we get some F's in chat? It says we literally don't want nor need your money. The get woke, go broke mantra is pure bullshit. You don't need to attack people who your game isn't for. By doing this, they think they're going to get more attention on their game in the group of people they want to sell it to. Just ignore the people who don't like your game. Instead of creating all of this negativity to get more sales, it is a garbage way to do business. And your company is fucking pitiful. It is pathetic that this is the only way you think you're going to get money. They're saying, we don't want nor need your money. Clearly you need someone's money because you had to do a Kickstarter for it. Just saying. The get woke, go broke mantra is pure bullshit. All they're doing here is attacking the people who aren't going to buy their game. And by doing that, they think that they're going to get people talking about their project. They think they're going to get people... Let's just call it for what it is. They think they're going to get the woke crowd, more people in the woke crowd, to buy their game because they're shitting on people who their game isn't even for, which is complete and utter BS. Somebody said, no such thing as an apolitical game. That's not true. There's plenty. Tetris, Pong, Pac-Man, Galaga, Space Invaders, Mario. You're just looking for an excuse to shoehorn in your politics. And I completely agree with this. 100%. There are people bashing this company. This company's getting ratioed to hell and back right now. People saying things like there's no such thing as an apolitical game. Pac-Man, Angry Birds, Mario Kart, Ninja Gaiden. People saying things like the get woke, go broke mantra is pure bullshit. Battlefield 5 would like a word. I mean, it's true. They also say things like no fascists or bigots allowed. To play Thirsty Sword Lesbians, you must support racial liberation, intersectional feminism, queer liberation, respect transgender people, non-binary people, intersex people, women, immigrants, disabled people, sex workers. Do you really need to say these things? Do you really need to point out, if you're a complete piece of shit, don't buy our game? Like, yeah. People should just respect each other. People should be nice to each other. Just because you don't like someone's opinions doesn't mean you should be awful to them. But, like, they literally are putting out statements like, no fascists or bigots allowed. If you don't agree, fix your heart before sharing a table with other people. If you do agree but you're struggling with self-loathing over any aspect of your identity, that's understandable. We're taught to hate ourselves in so many ways. Come on in and let's celebrate the existence and joy of people like us. I'm not going to read anymore because I'm going to be talking about this in a video tomorrow. But, according to them, there's no such thing as an apolitical game. And they literally don't want nor need our money, even though they had to put out a Kickstarter to raise money for I Am Not Starfire in 15 more years. So that's all that I really had to discuss tonight, you guys. We talked about Evil Hat, Tripwire, Shang-Chi, Russo Brothers, and also Kotaku. I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in chat. Or if you have any topics you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to leave them in chat as well. Please consider becoming a supporter via memberships or supporting via direct donations through Streamlabs. All of the links are in the description. For those of you who are supporters, whether you donate directly, whether you are a supporter via Patreon or a supporter via memberships, tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing a supporter-only live stream here on the channel. I'm going to be playing some video games. I'm just going to be doing an open Q&A, kind of hanging out for like an hour, hour and a half. So if you want access to that, consider becoming a supporter. All the links are in the description. Memberships, Patreon, direct donos, all that fun stuff. And, yeah. And then on Thursday, guys, I'm going to be finishing my playthrough of Halo Combat Evolved. I don't know what I'm going to be playing over the weekend. So next week, Deathloop launches. Deathloop launches next week on the 14th. So next Tuesday, I will not be doing a Vera After Dark discussion stream. I will be playing Deathloop because that launches. I'm pretty excited to see that, to play it, check it out. So that's what I'll be doing next week. And then the week after is going to be Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which, again, I'm super excited for. So lots of new games coming out after those two. There's no other games launching on Tuesday, so we'll be back to doing the Vera After Dark weekly discussion streams on Tuesday. But for the next 2 weeks, I will only be doing, gameplay on Tuesdays instead of the discussion streams. So I just wanted to update you all on that. So, yeah. I really hate these kind of people that pander for people, like me to be marginalized as a minority. I ain't gonna be dehumanized by idiots like them. Everything about that is bad. Come on, guys. I know that you really, really are excited for this. Politics is one thing, but the characters are ugly. I agree. I think the art in this, I'm sorry, is very bad. It's, very bad. It's just not good. At least in my opinion. Maybe one of you out there likes it. Guys, you guys are going ham against Evil Hat. I mean, I get it. I understand why. Definitely not saying I don't get it. Older Starfire burned my eyes. Yeah, well. That's the way it goes. Yes. Do you think that Hollywood will continue westernizing anime until the point of no return? I think they're going to try, yeah. I think that Hollywood is grasping onto anime, And I think that studios and companies like Netflix are still going to continue to try to take anime and twist it and make it so nobody likes it anymore. It's definitely an interesting strategy. It's definitely an interesting way to try to do it. Thank you, Rover, for the $50 donation. No text-to-speech. Come on, you couldn't even give me a hello, a hi, an H, a W, an L, an X, a Q? Q-Force? But thank you, Rover, for the $50 donation. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. And Lemon Drop. Thank you, Lemon, for becoming a Bronze Titan. Welcome to the Dark Titans. Much appreciated. For those of you who became members tonight, please join the Discord. And, I mean, if you want. I guess if you don't want to use Discord, that's cool. But if you join the Discord, message me. And I will set up your permissions, and you will get access to the supporter-only channel in Discord. Tomorrow, a couple of hours beforehand, because I'm going to be streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow evening for the supporter-only stream. So check out, if you're a Patreon, check out Patreon. Check out the community tab here on YouTube. I post under a special members-only post the link to the stream, and check out the Discord, check out the supporter only Discord channel, and I post the link in all of those places, so you'll be able to just click it and then you'll be right in on the live stream. So yeah, thank you, Lemon, for becoming a Bronze Titan. Much appreciated. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in chat, and I'll be wrapping up stream in just a few. But thank you guys for the support tonight. Oh boy, guys, I know you're excited for Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I know everyone loves Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I know. Oh, brother. Oh, no. Rover, thank you for the $50 donation, the second $50 donation. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Hi. I guess that's a way to do it. Listen, in your first message, you should have said hi, and then you could have saved $50. But thank you for the donos. I saw you playing Halo. You were great. I really love Halo. I'm going to be finishing Halo Combat Evolved on Thursday. We don't have too many more missions. We have like 2 or 3 more missions. 3 more missions, I think. So we'll be finishing that Thursday. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing over the weekend exactly. But we'll have to figure out some kind of game to stream over the weekend. I sometimes think things are too easy these days when we have these creatives producing this level of garbage and utilizing these market techniques. Big true. These wackos keep pushing ideology over talent and they never understood why nobody buys their crap. I 100% agree. I think that there are a lot of people, a lot of companies, creatives that are coming out with garbage and they throw hissy fits when their products don't sell, and it's so pathetic. They basically think they're entitled to people buying their products, liking what they're doing. No one has to like the garbage content that you're creating. You should make a video ranking your favorite Halloween candy. Are there any websites where you can, like, make graphs for your favorite things? Because, like, I do a Marvel one. Is there, like a website where it's got, like, I don't know, like 30 different types of, like, Halloween candy, and it's, like, pictures or something, and then you can rank it by, like, S, A, B, C, D, F? Is there, like, a website I'm not thinking of? Because I would rank Marvel movies, and I would also rank Halloween candy. 90% of Halloween candy is going straight up to S tier. I would die for Halloween candy. But, yeah. It is what it is. I don't know. Rank. I doubt there's one for Halloween candy. I doubt. "30 best Halloween candies of all time." It's gonna be garbage, I know it. Airheads? Airheads are good. Jolly Ranchers? Kinda good. Sour Patch Kids? Not a huge fan of Sour Patch Kids. Runts? What are runts? No clue. I need pictures. I mean, I like fucking Kit Kats, Snickers, Twix, Reese's. Reese's are #1. Reese's are the best candies ever. Do not fight me. Candy corn is very good. Not a Reese, though. It is not as good as a Reese. They have a tier ranking website that makes it easy. Oh, what's it called? Tier ranking website. Oh, tier maker? Oh, shit. Sheesh. Is there like a candy one? Oh, my eye. Ouch. Halloween candy tier list! Oh, sheesh! Shh. Why is there shit like twice on this, though? I'm not doing this one. There's literally no fucking receipt. No shot. Not wasting my time. That's trash. That is actually confirmed trash. Okay, this one has receipt. It actually has receipt. Guys, I'm ending stream in 5 minutes, but I'm ending stream in 5 minutes, okay? But I'm just saying, Reese's are straight up to S. Straight up to S. That's all I know. I've never known anything in life, but that's what I know. Tomorrow night, for the supporter stream, consider becoming a member or Patreon. You get access to the supporter only stream. I'll do a Halloween candy list, and I'll see if there's a Marvel list. Bubblegum, straight up to A. Anything Reese's. Anything Reese's is straight up to A. I mean S. Straight up. Twix, A. Candy, it's all A, S, and B. Like, B to me is an F. Like, there's nothing under B when it comes to candy. Unless it's like complete garbage. That's all I know. Guys, candy's amazing. If you don't like candy, wow. How could you? How could you? There's a tier list for everything. I don't use tier list website. Like, what is this supposed to be? Oh, those are actually not good. Kit Kat. B. Hershey's. Cookie and cream. B. B. Peanut butter. Anything peanut butter. Straight up S. We'll stop there. Or else I'm gonna do all the rankings. We'll do candy ranking and Marvel ranking tomorrow night. Cause why not? That's all you guys get. Anything peanut butter straight up to S tier. Real Smarties are amazing. True. True. Snack size Reese's cups are so disappointing. I only buy the big cups. I mean, most guys only like the big cups. I don't know. I think the snack size Reese's are pretty great. I think that they're pretty good. I don't think there's... Have you guys tried the white chocolate Reese cups? Okay, really quickly before I end stream, if you haven't seen them, go to your grocery store. They have Reese's peanut butter cups, but it's white chocolate on the outside. Oh my lord. I feel like an angel kissed the chocolate and gave it to me as a human. Okay? That shit is addicting. White chocolate Reese's. You heard it here first. Go and buy them all. They're amazing. They're straight up above S tier. Best candy I've ever had. Oh, yeah, but anything peanut butter. Peanut butter, M&M's. Peanut M&M's. All good. All amazing. Aero bars are better than Twix and Hershey's. Maybe I need to go and buy one for a scientific purpose, obviously. Obviously. For science. But alright, you guys, I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a supporter-only live stream, so consider becoming a supporter of the channel. Memberships, Patreon, direct donos, all that fun stuff. Join our Discord. We're very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of the live stream, because, of course, YouTube likes to not notify people of streams. And Thursday, I will be finishing up Halo Combat Evolved. I'll have a new video up tomorrow. I will be talking about this Evil Hat production situation. Follow me on social media, Twitter, Minds, all that fun stuff. Is there any other self-shill I have to do? I actually don't really think so. All the links are in the description in case you guys want to check any of them out. No pressure, obviously. And for the new supporters who became members tonight, join the Discord. Feel free to send me a message and I will set your role so that you can become a supporter. You can get like the supporter role in the server and you can get access to the special channel. But with that being said, thank you all so much for stopping by and have a fantastic evening, everyone.